As I go deeper into the Samadhi process, I clearly see there is no distinction between inside and outside world. There is nothing outside, there is nothing inside. Whatever is visible universe is nothing but an extension of spiritual world, which is vast and complex and almost infinite. Same way, our actions are only the tip of an iceberg, but they still come from the fertile field of thoughts, emotions, ideas, beliefs, which is a vast world filled within our head. And they are controlled by our bhavas, vrittis, vasanas. And these vrittis and vasanas make up the karmic body, which we have been carrying across many lives that we have lived. So this life is only one opportunity for the karmic load to express itself, finish up the unfulfilled desires through our actions, and hopefully with a spark of understanding how to end these karmic cycles. So each organism, each animal, each human, each entity, flowers, trees, everybody is born with their deep inner desires. Desire is the fuel for the evolution, which makes you progress from one species to the next. So every creature is born with innermost desires to advance on the karmic cycles or go down in the karmic cycles based upon the desires. So there is a vast network of karmic interactions which are taking place. And each organism has their own karmic load. Similarly, every human being has a complete universe in themselves, which is either filled with chaos for the people who have anxiety, stress, depression, grief, or somebody's universe is filled with serene oceans, nice, quiet lake with beautiful reflection of moon and the serenity. Just the way there are billions and billions of planets in this universe, each planet with a different atmosphere at a different stage of evolution. And of course, there may be millions of universes like the universe that we have, but we will never be able to reach to that universe or those universes. As Krishna says, I am the master of crores of universes, let alone even one, which science is having a tough time explaining or getting a grip on. The universes cannot interact because of this enormous distances. Even planets cannot communicate. Similarly, each person is living in his or her own universe, and this universe is out of bounds for other people They can only see the actions, which is only the surface. They cannot see other people's thoughts, emotions, ideas, beliefs, which are totally contained within that particular universe for that particular person. Just the way one person cannot share his or her dreams in a real time with another person's dreams in real time. It can only be talked about, but it is not the same as experiencing the dreams. So it seems that every single organism is on its karmic journey, just the way flowers are. To us, flowers are beautiful. They are very fragrant, but that's only extension of our ego. In the nature, nothing is for emotional reason. Nothing is there to create the beauty. Beauty is the human imagination. The colors of the flowers have their purpose to attract the bees. A lot of flowers even have different colors at night under the ultraviolet vision that the night flying insects have, and we don't. So we don't see what they see. So each component of the universe has its own functionality. The fragrance has its own function. The colors have their own fragrance. The softness of the flowers have their own function, so that the bees do not get injured from the thorns or hard petals. So everything is coordinated for a functional use for the propagation of the species. So each flower even is born with its karmic load and a karmic universal consciousness message to go into the world and fulfill its role and to reach to the fruition. The fruition is actual making of a fruit, which is where the cycle ends. And after the cycle ends, next cycle starts based on the complete or incomplete desires. In a very subtle way, they are there, deep inside, even in flowers, even in bees, even in birds, even in humans, even in stones. Each one has its own place, and each Atma has their own journey to travel. When you interfere at the flower level, the journey of that flower comes to an end. And what are we doing it for? To offer to the God. God is the one who created. We are the one who destroy it and give it back to God. Do you think God will be happy about it? God will say, that was my creation. Who are you to break it? Once the fruits are formed, the cycle of fertility is complete. If a flower has already been impregnated by the bees and the flower falls on the ground after the impregnation, these are the only flowers which are suitable to be offered to God, because when we do that, we have a deeper understanding and respect for the intricate workings of this beautiful universe with its systematic approach and the progress that has been happening on a continuous basis. Our interference only shows our ignorance. So offering flowers to God is a nonsensical thing to do if you really understand the universe, the consciousness. And whether one particular karmic cycle gets abruptly ended or not, how does it matter in the vast, complex universe? But what really matters is whether do you have a respect for this cycle, for this beautiful creation, the systematic evolution that is taking place in the lap of this beautiful consciousness. Do we have a respect for it or not? So, when a deeper understanding takes place, the message becomes clear. Just the way we have our own universe, every organism, even a small ant, has its own universe. When it leaves its nest, it has a purpose on its mind, where it's going, what it's going for, how long it's going to go for, how much effort it will go through, what distance it will travel, what food to bring home, and what food not to bring home. All these things are totally present in the head of that particular ant, and it has its own desires and thoughts and actions. Maybe not as refined as humans, but they do have it. So, with this understanding, we have access and control only on our universe and not on someone else's universe. They have their karmic loads and they are born with a purpose to finish up this karmic load, be a part of the grand scheme of evolution and pass on, and then go into the next phase until they progress to the godhood. So our job is to stay within our universe, give a respect to every other creature on the face of the earth, to let them handle their own universe, their own designated roles to play. So plucking flowers is the intervention at a premature level versus plucking a fruit from a tree which already has finished its cycle. It's like you have to eat to survive, which will cause the least amount of load to this universal consciousness. It's like if you have to kill, would you kill a 20-year-old girl who still has great desires and great dreams to have a family, establish and pass on her own wisdom to the next generation, or an 80-year-old man who has finished all his deeds in life? Of course, we don't want to kill any one of them. But if you have to, what will be your choice? Plucking a flower is like killing a virgin. Plucking an apple is something not as drastic of a blow to the grand scheme of consciousness. And more than anything else, after all these discussions, what we really need to understand is the inside, in our mind, in our deep psyche. If we develop a respect for this beautiful arrangement of billions and billions and infinite universes opening and closing all the time, each organism coming with its own and taking away its own and then going on to the next journey. All these things are so beautifully carved in this vast consciousness, which provides the medium for these billions of universes to exist. If we can develop a respect for such a vast consciousness, and if we bow down to this almighty consciousness, then we have learned something. Be respectful for such a grand scheme. Stay within your universe. Try to make it as serene and as beautiful as possible, rather than interfering with other universes, which they are entitled on their own to go on to their own journey. So much for today. So pluck fruits and not flowers.